This is Isaiah Cassidy. I'm Mark Quinn, and we're Private Party.
And you're listening to the All Elite Podcast.
How's it going, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a 50th anniversary special of the All Elite Podcast. That's right, our 50th episode anniversary right here in the No Holds Barred Network, your source for all wrestling podcast content and more. I'm your host of the podcast and CEO of the network, your self-proclaimed greatest host, Kyle Masters, and I'm always joined by my co-host. She is the executive vice president of Giggles, the Heartbreak Chick, and the indie queen herself, Tiffany. What's going on, Tiff?
Oh my god, happy anniversary.
I know, again, since we celebrated every single episode, but this is a big one. As you can tell by the big giant logo.
Damn,
it's huge.
Big enough.
Big. I don't even imagine when we hit 100, it's just going to cover the whole screen.
On the screen? I don't know.
Yeah, we're just not gonna have cameras for that one. The logo's gonna be so big it's gonna take up the whole screen. Anyways, guys, welcome to the 50th episode of the All Elite Podcast. If you are a returning person joining us on this long journey through 50 episodes so far, thank you for returning back. If you're new, welcome. This is our 50th episode. We've done 50 episodes so far. Me and Tiff are doing a live Q&A today to let you guys know a little bit more about ourselves. We're still going to talk some AEW. Still going to talk a little bit about what's going on right now and being the Elite review. Still got that for this episode. Mainly it's just going to be about letting you guys know a little bit more about us and about the podcast and the history of this podcast and the history of this network. So a lot of stuff packed into this show for today. So welcome back. Make sure you're following us on Twitter, most importantly at All Elite Pod. Make sure you are following us on Instagram as well at All Elite Pod and on Facebook at All Elite Podcast. While you're here on YouTube watching it live or watching it back, why don't you do us a favor? See a little subscribe button right there? Yeah, it's telling you to click it. Why don't you just give us a click? We've reached 1,000, but slowly go back and forth between 998 and 1,000. I'm not sure why, but it is what it is. That's YouTube. But we can say we reached 1,000. We have proof. We have photo evidence. So give us a subscribe. Hit the bell icon for notification updates. And if you're more of the on-the-go person, we are available on the go at Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, CastBox, iHeartRadio, Player FM, everywhere. It's available for you to take on the go. So you don't have to sit here and open your YouTube and watch us and see our terrible faces every week. You can just take us on the go.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm an on-the-go podcaster, though. That's me. I don't watch podcasts. I'm on the go. So if there's a podcast where it's just YouTube, I'm downloading their YouTube episode. That way I can just listen to it on the go. I can't watch podcasts. So for you people that watch us, thank you. I mean, we appreciate it. But, you know, I'm just saying my preference. I'm an on-the-go person.
Yeah.
Like when I'm going to work, when I'm working out, or I'm going for a walk somewhere. It's easy.
I hear you. Yeah. I get it. That's cool.
That's cool. That's cool.
That's cool.
Man, 50 episodes to 50.
I can't believe. Did you think that we'd get this far?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had faith. Did you have faith?
No, I had faith.
Didn't sound like it.
I thought maybe I'd kill Kyle within the 50 episodes.
Still here.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm going to see you in like 2.5 weeks. I might kill him then.
Full gear. Full gear. We're going to be full gear ready.
Okay, so I think because I saw it in the tweets. I mean, we're going to read your tweets. If you guys are in the chat and want us to answer questions, you may leave them in the chat. Or even like if you're watching this later, leave us comments below and then we'll answer them at a later time. So, but I noticed that a couple of people had asked the main question is, how did you and I meet?
Oh.
So I know, yeah, there was a couple of people that said that. So I think that should be our first.
The first question.
That should be
Are
our
you
first.
sure? Yeah. Why not? How did the Tiff and Kyle
come together?
Rock and sock connection come together?
What? The rock and sock?
Or the
what?
Or the Canuck and
what?
Duff connection? I don't know, something. I don't know. I don't have a name for it yet. I don't have a creative name. That sound like that would be creative right now. God.
Okay. So. Oh God, you're gonna be flashbacks to like all the stuff we've done throughout the years.
Throughout the years.
Yeah, Kyle and I actually know each other about, I think it's like 2.5 years or almost 2.5 years now.
Something like that. I don't even remember which podcast it was that you and James.
I do. Okay. So. But clearly it goes back a little bit more because I used to host, I mean, as you guys know on YouTube, that I used to host That Ass Podcast with my best friend James.
Well,
so
Tiffany, to the people that don't know, what is that? Because they just hear That Ass Podcast and they're like, what the hell is that?
Why don't you shut up and let me fucking talk already?
Go ahead.
Okay, so I was going to explain that. So I used to do That Ass Podcast with James, and we used to talk about dating and everything in the dating world because me and him, we're always single. We've been best friends for over 20 years. We never dated each other. It was never like that because everybody assumed that, because even Kyle assumed that me and James were together. But me and James always bitch on the phone, or we would always bitch in person about how horrible the dating world was. So we were like, oh, let's start a podcast, and we'd sure that a whole bunch of other people would love to join in on their experiences. So that's how you found me. I mean, you have a story how you found me.
It's interesting. James. So the word, and it all goes back to the word that ass. So at the time, I have a friend I used to podcast with, Corporate Cappy. Our other friend, Jordan, was obsessed with that sentence. He would say it like everything, like, that ass. Like, he was just a goofball. So he would say it all the time, and we would say it along with him, like making fun of him. And one day it was us three. I think we were at a bar or something, and I'm like, we were talking about the wrestling podcast, and like Jordan was asking us questions about it. I'm like, can you imagine, like, there's a, like, Jordan, you should start a That Ass Podcast, like, because you say it so much. I'm like, I'm gonna check first if it's even existing. And sure enough, as I was sitting at the bar right there, I opened up the YouTube app, I typed in That Ass Podcast, and Tiff and James were live on the air. I'm like, guys, no way, look. I'm like, there's a That Ass Podcast. So I went home that night and I rewatched that episode and I listened to it. I'm like, oh, these guys are actually pretty funny, and you know, I could relate to them. And I think in that episode, you guys, I think James mentioned wrestling. So I'm like, oh, what, the wrestling fans? Look at that, it's cool. And then I started getting on their chats, and then I think it was
you were a secret subscriber.
Yeah, secret subscriber.
Me and James were aware of you. So how me and James came across Kyle and Corporate Cappy was, I was having an NXT party here. It was in August, over 2 years ago. And I just had a whole bunch of people come over. So James was coming to my house, and he called me to let me know. He's like, Tiff, he's like, you have to listen to this podcast. He's like, they're doing like an all day kind of thing, NXT, SummerSlam.
So it was an all day podcast covering both shows for that weekend, and it was on the Saturday, and then we were going to do the predictions for the Takeover and the predictions for SummerSlam. And we like packed it all into one day, and that's so hard to do. God, I'm never doing that again. I just went into a coffin after that was done. I was so dead. But it was that's basically the gist of it. We called it the Lowdown in Brooklyn, because I think it was in Brooklyn, was it not? Yeah,
Barclays. Sorry, yeah. So that's how me and James found Kyle and Cappy, and then we started hanging out into each other's chats, and then we've had Kyle on because we used to do oh my god, what was the name?
Cheek to Cheek.
Thank you.
How do I remember that?
It's been a long time.
That's because I was the best guest.
Podcast anymore. Yes, more. That's it. Yes, we were talking. I was doing that fat ass, and you chose was it Paige? Was it probably?
Probably. It had to have been.
So yeah, so Kyle started coming on that ass a lot. So he used to co-host with us, and then me and Kylie also used to. Well, I also used to do. Me and Kyle did That Coffee podcast where we would sit, we would drink and try different cups of coffee. I
so hard
do
to
not
do.
suggest to drink 10 cups of coffee.
If we continue that like a regular thing, my doctors would have problems with me. I think they would go to take blood and coffee would come out.
It's too fun. Yeah, we worked a lot together. So we've done free-for-all episodes where anything goes. So it was not just dating. We used to talk about wrestling. We'd talk about movies, music, all sorts of stuff. So like Kyle used to come on a lot. Yeah, you came on that ass a lot. I wasn't really coming on to the Lowdown show with you. James had did a couple of episodes with you, but you came on to our channel a lot. But it was funny because me and Kyle like always chatted. So we've always been like close, like. So, but yeah, it's been a crazy ride, right? So, and then January came around of this year, and I had brought up, well, the whole thing with AEW came about around January 1st. So I think within a couple weeks, I messaged Kyle and I was like, what do you think about doing an AEW podcast with me? I was like, this is going to be huge. Boy, were we right, huh? Were we right? Like, I just knew. I mean, I knew I followed more. I mean, as you guys know through the episodes that we've been doing, I'm a little more familiar with a lot of the names than Kyle was. But, I mean, like, aren't you, like, excited? Like, isn't this great? Like, you love it, right? Like, so we said this. We wouldn't be doing this podcast if we didn't love, you know, our love for wrestling and all these people. It's just... It's crazy.
It's nuts.
But yeah, so it's insane.
We just jumped into it and just said, okay, yes, doing it. Because at the time with the network, we had a retro show, Lowdown Show Retro, which was dedicated to old Raw and old WWF pay-per-view reviews. Then we had myself and Michael doing the NXT show, and then I stopped doing that. Michael went on to his show and trying to, you know, just focus on his stuff. So I had really nothing to do. So I started an AEP podcast with Tiff while the other one was working, or, you know, kind of fading out into the background. And then, yeah, it was just with Cappy. When we bring up Cappy, it was an old podcast of mine. We used to do like a WWE podcast for years. Like we started back in 2014. Like this network it first started in 2014, and at the time it wasn't even a network. I didn't make it a network until I think 2016, 2017, and actually later than that, I think it was beginning of 2018, I made it into a network. So it was a podcast before, and it was called No Holds Barred Wrestling Podcast. That's why our URL used to be NHBWR. It was the initials for the very first episode, No Holds Barred Wrestling Radio. Oh God! Like I wanted to start my own radio station. I had big dreams back then.
But we're here, right?
Yeah.
So
still No
God.
Holds Barred, or as Tiff would originally call it, No Holds Barred.
I did that on our episode.
It's okay. She's illiterate. We work with it. It's all right.
Something that I would say, as you guys know, like I talk fucked up anyway, so nothing actually comes out right. So things just fly out of my mouth. That's that New Yorkin way or whatever. But yeah, so me and Kyle actually met this year. Kyle is the reason why I did get into NXT. I was really focusing on the WWE main roster, but I was always supporting Kyle, and then when he was just doing like NXT, then I started watching NXT. So I wanted to have that experience with Kyle to watch NXT with him. So I had brought the idea of them coming back here WrestleMania week, and how awesome would it be? Johnny Gargano was always my favorite, and I would love to watch Johnny Gargano win the belt with the person that got me into NXT. So, I mean, just the load, like that experience with Kyle will always be a special moment for me.
The reactions from the fans alone in that section we were in were like memorable. Like the guys in front of us were like fainting, and I couldn't believe it. It was probably the greatest match ever. And like, no, it was a good weekend with G1 and the WrestleMania party she had at her house. So it was pretty fun. It was just So I guess it came full circle. I got you into NXT, and then we went and seen your boy win the championship. So that was pretty cool. As for NXT, it's still part of the network. We have a new member of the family named Skelly Bones. He's covering NXT right now, doing a very good job of it. I actually am going to be uploading his preview episode for this week's show later on today, so look out for that if you're a fan of NXT. And if you are and you don't know about it, go check out his episodes. They're really quick. They're not that long, but he gets the job done. Really, really good listen, really easy listen, guys. I highly suggest you check out the next podcast on the network. It's available just as everywhere as it is here for us, so go check that out. So shout outs to him. I want to give a quick shout out here to Tiff, the wonderful, amazing Tim Hortons Coffee. Start your day off right with a Tim Hortons Coffee. Sponsorship.
You're a mess.
Oh, I'm a mess.
Maybe one day. I don't know.
But yeah, that's how me and Tiff met. That's how we came about podcasting together. She convinced me that there's a lot of talk with AEW, and there's going to be a lot of stock into it, and I got on board, and look at us now, 50 episodes in, and
crazy.
The company is growing day by day.
And it's cool because like me and Kyle always worked great together, and that's why I was like, ooh, like this is gonna work, because just because how me and him always like hit it off for years. And also with every success that we've had interviewing Brandon Cutler, Rick Knox, and then we've also entered the world of the indie wrestling. So that's been a fun experience as well too. I know a lot of you guys, if you've been watching before, we've been doing Under the Ropes, and we've been interviewing a lot of the guys from House of Glory because they're very aware of who I am, because I go to a lot of the shows, and it's just amazing. And Kyle's seen some of these wrestlers that wrestled there as well. And we love to get to know the backstories about them. It's just awesome. And how satisfying would it be if they get called up to AEW or somewhere else? It'd be pretty awesome.
But yeah, it all started with that ass.
It sounds so wrong.
Hey, it's That Ass Podcast. Sorry.
And it's funny because just like how everybody always thought like me and James were together and dating, everybody always assumes that you and me were dating too. Like,
so what's wrong? Like the Twitter and podcasting industry, you guys are sick. Just because a girl and guy are on the same podcast doesn't mean they're dating. You guys are sick.
I think what it is too is like we just mesh very well. Just like me and James, we just mesh.
We do live in a society where a guy and a girl can't be friends. So.
Yes. Oh my God.
Yes, that's so wrong.
But no, we're not dating.
No, stick to your own sex. How dare you?
Even though we talk about that ass.
Those were interesting. I was actually very nervous for the cheek-to-cheek episode you guys did. I was extremely nervous. I'm like, I've never talked about myself like this before. How do I do this?
I don't know. But we focus mostly on. Like, I think I'm gonna have to retweet that episode and put it out there. So, but even I made a special, like a bunch of clips of me and Kyle on that. I'll post them both so you guys can see.
Most importantly, because I hope he's watching back, and you're gonna send it to him. James, talking to you, bud. You need to get on this podcast with myself and Tiff at the same time for a special guest episode.
It's been a while since the
Clear your damn schedule. I don't care what you have to do. Get your ass on this show.
I know.
Talking to you, James. Tiff's gonna clip this thing. She's gonna post it. I'm gonna tag you in it.
All right, we'll do that. I'll clip it for you anyway. But so also when Kyle came down here, this is why Fat Pharaoh has become a thing.
Yes, she giving me the whole tourist treatment going through Times Square. And we came across this like Asian themed whatever store, and we found this guy. I'm like, this guy looks exactly like Pharaoh, but fat.
It's huge.
Yeah, there's a bigger version of this one. This is the smaller version.
Yeah, like me and Kyle like literally wrapped both our arms around this stuffed animal. So we were like, this is freaking awesome. So I bought the smaller one, and we were like, this is our mascot.
Yeah,
so
Fat
that's
Pharaoh.
where Fat Pharaoh comes from, because when Kyle came down from New York.
And if you're going to be in Baltimore, he's going to be in Baltimore. You get to meet Fat
Yes,
Pharaoh.
come into Baltimore with me, so you guys can take pictures and come meet me and Kyle. Like, even though
Fat Pharaoh's the celebrity, not us.
yeah, he's the real deal. Forget us or whatever. But it's so funny because it's just such a humbling experience having people come up to you, and because me and Kyle are just like anybody else. And it's funny too because the wrestlers are the same thing, and it's still. I mean, I don't know how you feel about it. All I know is I can kind of explain how I feel, and I freak the hell out all the time with a lot of these wrestlers. And some of them, like, it's pretty easy peasy for me to have conversations with them, but a lot of them I can't. I still fangirl Anthony Gangone. It's still very hard for me to talk to him. Even though, like, I've seen him and chatted with him after a whole bunch of shows, it's still very weird. And I don't think I've ever told him this, but I know Ray's in the chat, and I've told Ray this. I think I look at like Anthony like a big star, and the fact of him being on a whole bunch of like Fight TV and like on YouTube, and him wrestling also like big stars like Sami
Fight
Callihan.
TV, great app. Check out all your wrestling promotions, guys, and to buy some pay-per-views and watch AEW on. Great app, guys. Download Fight TV app today. Awesome app. Shout outs to you guys.
But yeah, so it's hard for me to have conversations, and he always says he's just like a normal guy, but like to me, I'm like, geez, like, you know, like you're a star. So, and Ray laughs at me because I'm like normal around Isaiah and Quinn for whatever reason, but Anthony, like, I get starstruck. I can't. But
Starstruck.
But even Cutler, when we interviewed Brandon Cutler, I mean, this is behind the scenes. Like, I was shocked that Brandon Cutler said yes to me and Kyle. And I was fangirling for a week. So our joke with me and Kyle, I would message Kyle, be like, we're going to interview Brandon Cutler.
Yeah, so might as well get into this now that you bring it up. We actually have interviewed 3 important people on this All Elite podcast so far. And it all started with the wonderful and the awesome Maria Ling. So put up on the screen for you guys. These are the 3 interviews we've done. Maria Ling is actually the graphic designer behind that Being the Elite outro that you see with the cartoon sketches talking. And then Matt's like, where do you think you're going? So she was the one behind that. She's an awesome animator. We got to interview her, got to know her more. She's a fan of our podcast, so it was awesome that we interviewed her and got to know her a little bit more. It was awesome. Tiff met up with her at All Out. She made Tiff an awesome t-shirt, so she's awesome. Go check her out, guys. Get to know a little bit more about her and her history with the whole story behind that Being the Elite outro. Right after the very next episode, we were able to interview Brandon Cutler, as Tiff was saying, and I was shocked because, like, at the time, it was around the time that Being the Elite came out, where we showed him getting signed and the emotional story behind it. So it definitely caught me and Tiff and plugged at our heartstrings, that's for sure. So to be able to interview him after that was amazing, and he was such a good guy. And not to toot our own horn, but just saying, me and Tiff are actually the ones behind the hashtag Brandon or Cutler footage.
Yes.
Just saying. It's all us. It's all us.
We must feed him that, and then you guys continue with it as well. So I'm so glad he get.
Later on, eventually Rick Knox came knocking around, so we got in touch with him, and then we got to interview him. Awesome story behind Rick Knox, guys. I highly suggest you check out that interview too. Get to know more about Rick Knox and his history. Really humble guy. I really want to thank him for coming on again, as well as Brandon Cutler and Maria Ling. So those are 3 cool interviews that we've done this podcast, and hopefully more to come in the future.
Yeah, so we're working on some stuff, and with us also going to Full Gear, you know, you never know what's gonna happen. So we'll see what happens. But
I still want to get that SCU thing done. I want.
We're gonna make this happen. And I'm gonna get my big chocolate kiss signed by Scorpio Sky, because it's like a thing for me. But yeah, so that's pretty much a little bit of the backstory, a little bit of like me and Kyle. So
let's get into the Q&A. Let's get some more questions out here.
Yeah. All right. Let's do this. Where's the? I have them. Okay. You guys are amazing. So again, like if you're in the chat and you want us to answer some questions, we can go at it. All right, Cupid Girl. There are 4 horsemen in WWE and MMA. My question is, who would you put as the 4 horsemen of AEW? I would have Tessa, Britt, Brandy, and or Madison Rayne.
Oh, so horsewoman. So okay. That's tough now because they don't have their full roster yet. But I see what she did there. She added people who she thinks are gonna go over. Mm-hmm. Oh boy. So I think.
I would love, like, I'm
Britt's
all
there.
For Tessa. I'm all for Tessa.
Yeah. I don't know with her, though, just because of what Impact's doing lately, and it's still a popular thing, I don't know if I don't know if she's going to be that person to stay because of...
Well, let's just say anybody's open to come to AEW.
But, like, a 4 horsewoman now would be tough. You have Britt Baker, obviously, there. Mm-hmm. Then you have... You got, despite of what you think of her wrestling ability and everything, Brandy is going to be in that 4.
Yeah. I feel like it would be Brandy, Bea Priestley, Awesome Kong.
No.
No?
No. Your 4 horsewomen are Britt Baker, Nyla Rose, Brandy Rhodes, and probably Rihu. Right, Tiff? Rihu, because she's AEW champion.
Yeah.
Or your 4.
Okay.
It'd be Kylie Ray in there instead of Riho if she stayed around, but that's what it is what it is with that situation. Because the 3 main women they introduced at that first press conference are your 3 of the 4 horsewomen.
Like Rihu.
Yeah.
It's Bea Priestley, Nyla Rose.
Britt Baker, you have to have only 4.
Yeah, but Britt and Bea are against each other. So, but I feel like I like the idea of like a heel. So,
but the horsewomen are the ones that start. You have to pick the 3 that were at that press conference. You can't just add someone who just came about.
I'm just going with it, okay? Whatever. Okay, we tried, okay?
That's how the 4 women WWE started. There was the 4 women that came in all together. And they changed the industry.
Anyway, moving on. What's been the best part of this whole journey? And this question is for Kyle. How does the podcast compare to when you were doing the NXT show?
Ooh, yikes. I don't want to throw Michael under the bus, even though I'm famous for throwing people under the bus.
Yes.
So, okay, repeat the question.
Okay, so the first question.
What was the beginning part of that?
The question is, what's been the best part of this whole journey?
Oh. Best part of this whole journey, I think it's the fans.
Yeah,
I think it's you guys out there. The amount of appreciation we get for this podcast and the shares on Twitter and the follows on Twitter and subscribers so far, you guys are awesome. And the people that tune in live each and every single week or download the episode, I'm talking to everybody here. I'm not singling anybody out. Everyone here that supports this podcast, you guys have been the best part of this journey, because without you guys, I don't think me and Tiff even tried to continue. We might still, but you guys literally give us the motivation to come on here each and every single week to do this. So that's been the best part so far for me.
It's crazy because pretty much we try to live our episodes of just like me and him kind of bullshitting with each other, and this is how me and Kyle are throughout the years that we've been friends. Like, we'll just sit and be stupid with each other. And it's crazy.
You got to create some fun here for people. Can't just be boring and be like, on this episode of Dynamite this week, we had Joey Janela face off against Brandon Cutler, and it was a good episode. I mean, Tiff, what did you think? If we did that, you guys would be like, what the hell am I watching right now? What am I watching?
I mean, really, that's how me and him are with each other in DMs, and we're just silly. And like, Kyle gives me so much shit all the time. I give Kyle so much shit, and we compliment each other.
It's good shit.
Oh, great. But it's true. Like, it's just surprising to me, even the people that I've met, even when I went to All Out and meeting all you guys, it's been such an experience. And like, I always feel like I'm nobody, like, it's just shocking that you guys like want to listen to us. We just want to have a good time. We love wrestling. We love podcasting. And it's just been a great it's been an amazing journey, and we made a lot of great friends, and wow. Lost for words.
Yeah. And as we continue to grow, we hope you guys join us on our journey so we grow in terms of this podcast, maybe some sponsorships.
Ooh, maybe that'd be great.
I'm talking to you, Tim Hortons, Fight TV. Gave you guys some nice plugs today.
You should reach out to them. But anyway, so our other question was for you. How does this podcast compare to when you were doing the NXT
Okay,
show?
so that's tough. That's tough because at the time when I first started that, I was as much as I am in love right now with AEW is how much I was in love with NXT at that time. And me and Michael Chow, our old partner on the network, he felt the same way about my feelings towards the main roster, and we thought NXT was just like the better product and a better thing to talk about, so we decided to talk about NXT, make NXT part of the network, and it was good. It took off for a bit, and then we were having fun doing it, and there's like the cheap plugs at the other shows and the shots at the other shows that are on the network. We had fun. We had a lot of fun doing it, and it was good, and I like doing it. Obviously, I'm gonna not throw Michael under the bus here. I love this one way more. I think there's I have a lot more fun with this, and I feel like I have a lot more love for the product too. Not to take anything away from NXT, just the AEW product so far has been insane in my eyes. Like, I got introduced to a whole new world with this company, so it definitely, I'm having a lot more fun with this podcast, that's for sure. But not to take anything away from me and Michael's relationship and what we did. I love doing that too. I'm just, I give the edge to this one.
Even when you and Brandon were doing the NXT show, like I miss that as well, because that's one of your best friends, and you guys together were hilarious. And I think that's also kind of like where you and me go at, it was like a little bit like how you and Brandon were. Like Brandon, Cappy was always like the heel, I guess.
Yeah, he was the heel host. Now is the babyface host.
I guess you're the heel.
I guess I'm the heel according to you guys. I'm when I go off of my rants, but.
Oh, we have a question in the chat. Mac Radio. Based on the recent Twitter post, do you think MJF and Brandy turn on Cody? No, not
yet.
Now. Not now.
I don't think Brandy's going to turn. I literally think it's just going to be MJF that's going to be the one to turn. It's going to be, and they're going to save it. I've said it before in other episodes. They're going to save it for the big stadium one. I know, even I've seen them tweet about it. I know that they're looking at. They own the Jacksonville Jaguars football stadium. I know they're going to be planning a big show then. I know they're going to. It's a big payoff that's not going to. They don't want to rush things. We've noticed that they don't rush things in AEW. I know it's only been a couple shows in, but we already get that with their pay-per-views that they've done throughout the year. This is something that they're not going to rush because the ultimate payoff for that is going to be amazing, and it's going to be one of the main heading. No matter who's on the card, it's going to be one of the main events for that card because it's just. The payoff is going to be so good, and the story is so good behind it, and you got to keep building it. It's not done yet. I feel like the story is just fresh. Yeah. Like Cody and him are like introducing their friendship to the AEW world now into a lot of the newer fans. You don't want to rush this that quick. I mean, you want to keep the fans going. You want to build even bigger story with the newer fans.
The payoff's going to be beautiful. Just think about that. And it kind of brings me back to when like Moxley appeared at Double or Nothing. It's funny because me and Kyle had talked about it on the podcast and everybody assumed, and I think, and we talked about it even with Brandon Cutler, that, as the pay-per-view was so great and you were so excited for matches and things that were going on, I know I did, and I know Kyle did, we forgot all about Moxley because we were just so much exploded into AEW and Double or Nothing. So I really think it's going to be something like that with MJF. It's going to be when we least expect it, and the blowout and the payoff is going to be amazing. So
it's not going to be for a while. I know a lot of people just want to see it. Don't rush into it. Enjoy the storyline how it is now. Enjoy the teases. They've already done a couple of teases. I imagine now they'll hold off on the teases for a while, and then maybe closer to the big payoff, they'll start doing it again. But it's too early to do it right off the bat. Plus, they're not going to do it at Full Gear.
It's gonna. I think like next year. Yeah. Like I don't think it's gonna be anytime this year. I think like next year. I'm telling you, this is a beautiful storyline. Don't rush it. Yeah. You don't want to rush it. You want it be done properly. And this is just an amazing storyline. So we have another question in the chat. What's your thought on this? What if Revival and Orton debut together and feud with Young Bucks?
So Might as well talk about this right now and show you guys. We actually got it clipped. So, Randy Orton, biggest troll ever. I love this guy on social media. Guy's hilarious. So, he goes on Instagram and posts this. And he's in an elevator, and the light is shining on the one part of the sign that says Elite, and he's looking at it, and he says TikTok, TikTok. As in, like, his contract is coming up soon, and oh my god. Okay, so I've been asked this question already, and by people I know around here, about what if Randy Orton made the jump to AEW. I don't know. I'm on the fence about this.
I don't think so, because again, we're still not going to get everybody from WWE. They do not want everybody from WWE. No. And as your queen of the indies, okay, they're wiping out the indie scene. They're going after these indie guys. They want to build, there's so much amazing talent out there. I put that tweet out yesterday. I talked about Chris Bay. Like, I love him. He's a little badass. Like, I think he's FSW. I think that's what FFS. I forget the name of it's in Vegas. He's just amazing. And he's been making his mark. He was in WWE. He's like one of the jobbers, but he wasn't a jobber. He was in Impact. He was in GCW. Okay, here I'm showing you my indie side. There's so much amazing young talent out there. Me personally, I wouldn't care for Randy Orton to come over to AEW. I don't want to see I've said this numerous times. I do not want to see everybody from WWE to come over to AEW. That's not what it's about. They want to build stars. They want to push new talent and, Private Party. I love, right? Darby Allin, all these names, Joey Janela, like, he's living his best life, right? So I want to see these guys. I do not want to see... me personally, I'm not a fan of Randy Orton. He's boring to me. So
but this is where I think it could be good, because the whole thing you just said, yes, it's correct and it's right, and I agree with it. The other side of the fence that I'm looking at is Orton at his age right now can still go. I know he wants to be part-time, but he can still go. He sees AEW as a place where they have a limited schedule, which is good for him and the rest of his career. We don't know with a free mic how good Randy Orton is. We only know the Randy Orton of the scripted Randy Orton from the WWE, and we've seen some unscripted sides so far, and that's where everyone were actually enjoying Randy Orton. But if you give that to him in an AEW environment where it's all the time, something could be done here. And I have a feeling that Randy Orton has a lot more to give than what we see on AEW TV. And obviously there's the name factor, and it'd be a massive jump. That's a huge jump. You have a generational talent making the jump. That's like a Rock showing up on AEW TV.
And he's good friends with Chris Jericho as well. So,
and that's why he put in the tweet, I put it back, Chris Jericho makes fun of him, says, send in a tape with some pics, and I'll see what I can do, with a winky face.
I don't know.
But as for the revival,
yes.
I can see that happening.
We're definitely on this train. And we always talk about the tweet that both teams put out. I think it was December of last year, that they were like, mark our word, we will face each other. So I think eventually when their contract's up, I would absolutely love it, especially with them having the best tag teams in the world wrestling in AEW. I've never been so excited for tag team wrestling until AEW. So I'm looking forward.
There's a whole storyline there with the Elite. So like it just makes sense. So I'd welcome the revival with open arms. They're not getting used properly at WWE TV. It's horrible. So we know that they'd be used way better to, like, we'd be seeing like the old revival from NXT on AEW TV, because that was the revival I loved when they were in NXT and they just kicked ass, took names, none of this goofy bull crap. It was that was the best revival. So okay,
so we have a tweet from No Gimmick. Hi, guys. So after a 2-week holiday, and an unexpected trip meant I missed AEW Dynamite for a couple of weeks. I watched my first episode yesterday with Rihu. Baker, Jericho.
Did you spell it Rihu, or did you just say Rihu? Okay.
I just said it because that's our joke on the podcast. So just so you guys know, I say it as a joke. So my question is, should I go back and find the previous episodes to watch? Yeah. Yes.
What Tiff said.
Absolutely. Yes. I want to go back and watch the other episodes. All right. So moving on. So Kyle, our other friend. Kyle, the list of Kyles.
What's up, Kyle?
So since Tiffany is the queen of the indies. You have to make a trip to see Honor Wrestling sometime. It's my local promotion.
Honor
not real
Wrestling.
Honor Wrestling. Well, it says Honor Wrestling.
Okay.
So it's my local promotion, not really local as it's 4 hours away from me. I go to each month and it's absolute best. Plus they're connected to AEW, so it would fit with podcasts. Hey, listen, I travel hours to go see indie wrestling. Okay. I went to Pennsylvania. I've been invited to come to North Carolina because they want me to come do interviews and ring announcements. I was shocked that somebody actually reached out to me, and I was like, it's not something I ever thought about doing. I just love wrestling. So, and I love to podcast, and it gives me and Kyle like a platform to talk about with this. And as you guys see, like, I'm really loving the indie scene, and I think it's kind of taken away from NXT for me because I'm losing. I was just telling Kyle before this podcast that I'm legit having issues with dates, trying to figure out which indie promotion I want to go to because I support so many wrestlers and so many. So yeah, maybe one day I can come down there and come see an indie show. I would
far.
Love it. I just love indie wrestling. I mean, you guys see I post so many different promotions. I've been watching GCW like crazy. I mean, I'm looking forward to Beyond Wrestling this Thursday. Maria Maniac versus Nick Gage. Like, holy crap, take my money. But yeah, I love the fact of finding new promotions and checking out the wrestlers. So maybe maybe one of these days. So Josh said in the chat, who is your favorite AEW wrestler?
Oh, okay.
You guys know what my answer is going to be, right? It's going to be Private Party.
Well,
tag team,
I have the Homer pick of Sean Spears, but like in terms of like actual wrestling and who I love watching, it's Kenny Omega. Obviously, I got to pick one of the best wrestlers in the world, and then the guy's literally like what I just said. He's one of the best wrestlers in the world. And I love watching him in the ring. I love watching him do his craft. I love his entrance. I love everything about Kenny Omega, man. His charisma, like he's just the best. He's the best, plain and simple. And yeah, he'd probably be my favorite right now on the roster. If I had to pick like a homer pick, though, Sean Spears, since he's from my hometown. I've watched the guy since he was wrestling in high school gyms here. So it'd be both of them. I'd say number 1, Kenny, and number 2, Sean Spears.
Which is crazy. Kyle should go to ICW sometime. Yeah, maybe Kyle will come down one of these days. I know we were asked to actually do a podcast live from ICW.
Jeez.
Jack did ask me. He's like, I would love to have a podcast do ICW. So maybe in the future, me and Kyle can work that out at Jack, that we could just do it live. That would be amazing. I'm huge. Like, it's one of my favorite indie promotions here in New York. And a lot of the guys from AEW came from ICW. Joey Janela, Penelope Ford's been there.
ICW.
It's great. It's just a great promotion. Going Friday, guys. So if you're in the New York area, go check out ICW.
Okay.
Okay. So Zachary put a tweet out. What would AEW call their secondary title?
Ooh, so like they're okay. Well, it's tough with them. I don't know if they would take an old school aspect to it, or they would just stick with like some of the current modern minor titles. I can't see them doing an Intercontinental Championship. Yeah. Although on the other side of it, I could see it because there's the whole history with that title with Dusty Rhodes. Mm-hmm. I could see them doing maybe a television title.
Okay, I kind of like that, a TV title.
It's like sticking to like a modern day concept of a television title, and I can see them doing that, either a television title or God, it's tough because I know they've said in the past that they're going to have a minor title eventually. But we see how good they are even without a minor title right now. It's really going to be a title that may not be as significant as their world title. I think that's their goal, is to make the world title stand out below the other ones. So I would say a television title or man, no, I'm going to stick with it or an Intercontinental Championship.
Maybe a lightweight would be good. Lightweight, heavyweight.
Lightweight, yeah. They take some stuff. I think they're going to take ideas from other promotions, especially like New Japan and Ring of Honor. So that's why I brought up the television one. So I'm gonna stick with number one for sure, a television championship.
An elite.
Elite championship. Oh God, the elite championship. Yeah, that'd be good. Cool. Yeah.
That's awesome. Kyle in chat said, since Tiff goes to House of Glory a lot, do you run into JD often? Absolutely. JD knows me. Yeah, I love JD.
Jerry.
Kyle, what?
Jerry.
Amazing. Yeah. Kyle came down in April. I took him to a House of Glory. So Kyle didn't believe me that I knew Jerry, like, personally. He thought I was making it up, right? Like, I know Jerry. Jerry knows me. Like, he saw me in Chicago.
Well, I thought you were just like one of those people like, oh, I waved at him once, so I know him.
No, I talk to every time. I've seen even Jerry at Evolve as well. So when I see Jerry, I seen him in StarCast. He came up to me. We hugged each other. Like, I sit there and I have conversations.
I believe you now. I believe from that House of Glory when he came up and he went out of his way to come see you. So I'm like, okay, I believe. And then guy's a solid guy. I met him live there. I talked to him for a bit. The guy is not what you see obviously on his podcast. That's, his I guess you can say his podcast character, the way he is, and he shows how passionate he is about the wrestling business. So regardless of what you see in your opinion on his views, the guy himself is like a solid guy and a really stand-up dude. And I'm so humble he took time out of his time because he was prepping for the show to come over to me and Tiff and say hi. And we talked about NXT and stuff. So, like, he was awesome. Believe it or not, to him, like, he's one of the inspirations for me getting into podcasting. When I first started wrestling podcasting, I was watching podcasts before I even started, and his was the one I was watching mainly at the time. So he's basically the one that got me into it. So
he's great. Like, he's this amazing guy. He's humble. Like, he's just awesome to have a conversation with. Like, he's not raging. Like, he's legit, like, very, humble. Like, he'll talk to you, and he's just really is amazing. As for House of Glory, there's no Tiffany, who from House of Glory you'd love to see join AEW in the future? Oh God, there's so many.
Leroy.
Leroy is absolutely one. Give me him. I'm gonna go with Cupid Girl on this. Give me him and Orange Cassidy. Give it to me now. Smiley is another one. If you guys are not familiar, I should really reach out to him and have him come under the ropes. What's it called? Joey Silver. I know not so much in House of Glory. He's trained in House of Glory. I would love to see him in AEW. He's going to be a little bit of a beast. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
I love to see Leroy after interviewing him and watching some of his matches. The guy is sweet.
Viral guys,
like Nintendo Switch playing and wrestling at the same time.
I've been turning him into gifts lately. Like, I love turning Anthony
switching it up.
Yes, I love turning Anthony into. I see what you did there. Into gifts. But now I've been making Leroy into gifts as well, and he's just incredible. So so hopefully, we'll see him get the call up.
Hopefully.
Okay, RJ said if you can manage one of your list of husbands or list of wives, and it cannot be number one. Damn it, RJ! Who would it be? You could hold one single title from any promotion currently. What would you want to hold and why? Okay, so I really thought about this.
Is it a two-part question or is it the same?
Yes, it's two-part question. Okay. So the first one is, if you could manage one of your list of husbands or your list of wives.
Not number one?
Number one.
Paige.
Crazy. Okay. I struggled very hard with this because I have the 15 list of husbands. And of course, like, I can't have Anthony again going because we joked around, because even Jimmy put it out there. He was like, Tiffany can manage Anthony, but Anthony's awesome. He doesn't need anybody. So I'm going to go with Joey Silver. Like, I was really thinking about this. I was like, because I can rock something very sparkly silver because he rocked out the silver. So I could, like, put, like, silver glitter in my hair and wear something like a dress. That,
so silver did make it to the list.
He did make it to the list. Did you see that updated?
Oh, we have a updated list, but it's not on the clipboard. So,
What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. It's on the clipboard.
No, I just seen it. We have video evidence that it wasn't on the clipboard, folks. We seen it. You guys seen it live. You guys are watching it back. I have proof. I just seen it. It wasn't on the clipboard.
It's on the clipboard. My list of husbands. So I booted AJ Styles and Seth Rollins off. I added Joey Silver, Amazing Red, and Chris Dickinson.
Oh.
and Sammy Callahan.
Oh.
So, yeah, Daddy can get it.
Whoa.
Well, that's his gimmick, Dirty Daddy.
Okay.
Well, Daddy
Anyways, to the people that don't know, that's the gimmick.
Dirty Daddy.
I pick Paige. Obviously, you guys can't see, but right here on my wall is a shrine to Paige. I have like a couple action figures by her. Actually, you can see her face slightly right here by one of the action figures. She's been my favorite ever since she walked into NXT when I was first starting to watch NXT. She came in. I loved her character. I was following her. I got to know more about her history, and then I followed her since then. It sucks about her whole neck thing. Hopefully, eventually she does come back to wrestle. But
Yeah.
oh man, I don't know what it is, but oof, oof. But for sure, I'd manage her 100%. So second part.
Yeah, if you could hold one single title from any promotion currently, what would you want to hold and why?
Oh, I can be that person and go, the AEW World Championship.
What is the IWTV title? Is that what it is? The indie promotion title?
I'd want to hold the main title in New Japan, the IWGP World Championship, because of the history with that championship, and it looks beautiful, and it's such an awesome title, and I'd hold that one 100% because there's a lot of significance with holding that title.
That's an amazing title. But yeah,
and I'd have 5-star matches because Dave Meltzer give me 5 stars every time. I'd be hitting the master's degree on everybody, and it'd be awesome.
Oh, the master's degree.
I think my finishing move, the master's degree.
Poutine power bomb.
The what?
No, it was the poutine power driver, not the power bomb. Poutine power.
I think it was a power bomb.
I know, but originally before
that's the signature move.
Oh, okay. So, but no, I would do the IWTV championship because I am the queen of the indies. So I need to be holding an independent title.
Okay.
All right. So let me grab because there's just so many. Oh shoot! I missed.
What did you do?
I had my whole list of questions that we were. So I'm gonna go after one in the chat. What is your favorite AEW t-shirt?
Oh.
I kind of like the Young Bucks Fiesta one. That's still my favorite. I think because it's very colorful.
I mean, I'd say probably this hoodie because this hoodie is amazing. But if I had to pick a t-shirt, like a t-shirt design, it would be, I think I know who, Tiff.
Yeah.
It would be none other than Michael. Oh, wait. Nakazawa. It's so awesome and basic like me. Because you call me basic. That's right, Michael Nakazawa. Coming across your screen. No, I was lying. It's not Michael Nakazawa.
It's crazy. Kyle said, who all from the Women's Casino Battle Royale do you both want to see in AEW? What's her name? Damn it. Priscilla Kelly.
I think she's gonna come.
I had to think about it. It's hard.
I think eventually she's gonna come. She's for sure gonna come. If anybody else, I'd love to see Tenille eventually for sure. I think she's probably maybe going to come eventually when her Impact contract's maybe done. I don't know. I can't tell. But I'd love to see Tenille in AEW. That'd be cool. She's a good wrestler. I really like her. So.
Kyle, who would you like to see Shawn Spears feud with in the future?
God, it's a tough question.
Yeah, there's so many.
I'd love to see him and Kenny go at it. I think him and Kenny could have a really good match.
Yeah.
Him and Kenny would probably be a solid match, and there's a lot they both have the charisma to build a pretty good storyline too. I think hopefully that happens eventually. We get a Kenny and Shawn Spears match. Yeah. I don't want to see him face Shawn Spears.
Dave said, who do you see dethroning Jericho for the title?
Oof. God, it's tough because the story they've done so far with Cody makes you think it's going to be Cody.
No, I think it's going to be Kenny, and I think it's going to be a slow build, and I think we're going to get our rematch
I don't know if we're going to do it. We already did the rematch.
No, but I think we're going to have another one because we just had the one in AEW. Maybe some people didn't follow the New Japan.
That's too much.
Not
They've
now.
done it
I'm
so
not saying
they've
like
done it
now.
too much.
I think this is going to be a build for it.
I think if Kenny wins, it's not Jericho. It's someone else. I think it might be. Maybe they do. Maybe it is Cody, and they do a Kenny and Cody. Maybe Cody just turns on his friends.
Or Cody like takes it, and then eventually we get our feud with MJF. But I think it's too soon.
Right now, there's no clear cut.
It's not. It's gonna be a while. Like
yeah.
Jericho's gonna hold. I feel like Jericho's gonna hold that title for a while
until they find someone that's established that could hold that championship. Right now, it's the only one that looks great is Cody, but it's a little bit too early too. But what they've done with the promos and building, it's like, oh man, Cody might actually do it. It's tough because I look at the rest of the roster and I'm just like, I can't pick someone out of that crop to be the one to dethrone Jericho, and
it's gonna be a while.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. I think it's gonna be a good payoff too with that too. Like that screams good payoff rather than just change the title really quickly like that. So we'll see. I think he's gonna have the title for the Jericho's. That's a good, for sure. He's gonna have the title on there. They can do so much with that, with being the elite and stuff. So, he's gonna have that. He's gonna have that title for a while. But right now, I can't see anybody. But I can't see Kenny do that. I can't. They've already done Kenny and him so many times.
I think it's gonna be like a long story, like line, like a climb. Kenny's gonna come back, and I don't know. Not now, because like I said, Jericho's
even
gonna
later on. I don't want to see it. I've already seen it too much.
Yeah, build
it's
like a
too,
new.
like you gotta build someone else. You can't do something that's been done before. They're not about that.
I understand that. So, but it's too soon. TFC Godfather says, congrats on 50th episodes, 1K YouTube subscribers. My question is, what WWE owned pay-per-view name would you want AEW to have as their own if WWOs were willing to part with it? War Games for obvious reasons, but I would love Starrcade myself.
Oof.
Okay, so I'm gonna go a little bit on the WCW side with it. I'm gonna say Halloween Havoc. That's what it was, Halloween.
Is that because Halloween's your favorite theme of the year?
One of my favorites, but the other thing too that I would like with it is because if you've watched old episodes like and you followed the Elite before, like Kenny and them always dress up for Halloween. So that's what I'm going for. It's not because Halloween's my favorite. I'm just like, it would be cool to see them like wrestle it, like they at the cruise this year that they were dressed up as like Super Mario Brothers, and it was just awesome. So I would love to see like a theme. I'm corny, whatever. Just, like judge me, I don't care. But
judging you hardcore right now.
I would love to see something like that.
I'm gonna pick the generic pick and one that everyone's probably gonna say, and that's King of the Ring. That's King of the Ring.
Okay, I want to change it
bring
right
the King
now.
of the Ring. Nope. You said Halloween Havoc. Too bad. It's locked in. It's locked in. Can't change. No, everyone heard it. Nope. Locked in. No.
These were one of my favorite pay-per-views growing up.
They could do so much, and I believe
that
that they would do the tournament a little bit better and probably bring back that classic feel or add their own little spice to it. I'd say King of the Ring. Hands down, King of the Ring. The tournament was so awesome. So
I love that. Yeah. I love that. Yeah,
clearly, WWE doesn't know what to do with it because this year they just ruined it even more. So
I like that. Okay, so he had another question. If you could date any AEW star on air talent, who would it be and
these
why?
questions, damn. If I could date anyone on air?
Oof. On AEW roster, yeah. Trent. Oof.
Britt Baker. I get free teeth cleaning all the time.
That's your
My
concern?
teeth would be the least concern if I dated Britt.
It's funny because I think a lot of people would think either Matt or Orange Cassidy. I mean, Orange Cassidy is number 2 on the husbands. But I was thinking about this and I'm like, Trent looks like a sexy pirate as well as Jay White. So like that dirty, that long hair, those abs. He's from New York. Ooh.
Okay. Yes. Oofed.
That's a fan.
I'm sticking with Britt Baker, man. I want some free dental care for the rest of my life.
That's terrible.
What? Because I care about my teeth? There's a problem with that, Tiff?
No.
How dare you? How dare you?
I'm just laughing at you.
And she's good looking. She's pretty. She's beautiful. Obviously, it's not just the teeth.
Yeah.
She got DMD. Pretty good career there, you know? My sugar mama.
Oh, God.
Sound like Johnny Bravo there. She be my sugar mama.
Oof.
Anyone remembers Johnny Bravo? Ah, that's an oldie for you.
Okay. So these wolves said he had 3 questions. Okay, well, 2. 1 we already answered. How did you and Tiffany meet? Okay, what wrestler got you into wrestling, and what was the match that got you hooked?
Oof.
Believe it or not, I remember, like, because this goes all the way back. This is, I mean, I know nobody believes me, but I'm 37 years old. So I started watching wrestling.
Gasp.
Yeah, I know. I started watching wrestling when I was little with my dad because he always had it on the TV. So I just got curious. And believe it or not, it was Lex Luger.
Whoa.
I know, it's crazy. I just remember.
Is it because he was jacking you on like this all the time?
That's what it was. I don't know. Like, you're asking me to go all the way back. You're asking me
Tiff, we are asking you to go all the way back.
But this is like, I don't know.
You're not 87, you're 37. You can remember.
I can remember 30 years ago. You think
Sure.
I'm 30 years old?
You don't have Alzheimer's. You're okay.
Okay, fuck you. Okay.
Whoa! Explicit content. Now I gotta flag the video. Damn it.
I just remember Lex Luger. I don't remember what match it was, but I can tell you, like, my favorite match, because I think somebody asked me this recently, that always sticks out to me, is I go back to WrestleMania 10, and I'm sure there was plenty of other great WrestleManias, but for whatever reason, I always go back to WrestleMania 10. It was and it's still one of my favorite pay-per-views. And I always go back to the whole feud with Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon. Absolutely one of my favorite feuds. The ladder match, the Intercontinental title, it just always sticks out to me. I think that's probably when I truly fell in love with it. And I think a lot of people probably don't like WrestleMania 10, but that's my personal favorite. You know, even Bret Hart versus Yokozuna when he won the belt, and it's just all those feuds, Jerry Lawler and Bret Hart, and the feuds between Bret and Owen Hart, and you know, I go back to the 90s, the beginning of the 90s. Those were my favorite which got me into wrestling. So, yeah.
Oh, are you done?
Yeah.
I thought we were listening to a novel here.
You know. I can't.
No, that's a good answer. No.
In 2.5 weeks because I'm
that's a good answer.
Pop you.
Oh, you bring more pop. Okay,
pop.
we're bringing pop. Okay.
Yes.
No, that's a good answer. So mine is weird. Mine was less wrestling based, more character and gimmick based. And mine was The Undertaker. Undertaker, still one of my favorites of all time. The whole gimmick it's probably the best gimmick in all of wrestling. The first match, gonna be a hook, believe it or not, was him and Kane in the Inferno match. That was the first match I ever watched. Was a damn Inferno match. I'm like, damn, what am I watching here? There's fire everywhere around the ring. I was going nuts. I'm going, my God, what the hell? And they just got me hooked into it. That got me hooked into wrestling and started watching more stuff from there. But Undertaker was the guy, and it was the build towards that, and the gimmicks, and the fire, and the antics, and it was just like that was my first ever match I ever watched. Was that Inferno match, and I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, this was. Oh God, the history buffs are gonna kill me for this. I think it was either 97 or 98, and I think it was either Bad Blood. No, is your King of the Ring or In Your House?
Oh my God, In Your House. Remember the video game?
Oh my God.
Pin him.
Oh man, it was Undertaker, and I know someone in chat is probably gonna correct me. Inferno match. If you guys know in the chat, let me know. Inferno match. It was 98 or 97. Someone's got to know. A history buff in the chat's got to know this.
Undertaker and Kane. Yeah. 98. 98.
It was 98?
Yeah.
Oh, God. I'm just...
Yeah. The good thing about Google.
What was the pay-per-view called, though? I don't know. If anyone remembers the pay-per-view, let me know. We'll move on from here. But it was 98.
Unforgiven?
Unforgiven. That's right. That's right. Unforgiven. That was back when it was WWF Unforgiven. So, okay. That was my first match I ever watched. So, anywho. Rihu. Anywho. Yeah, that was the only part of that question, right? It was that. But speaking of these wolves, I do want to do something special for them and announce something here because I know they're in the chat and they're listening right now. Guys, if you don't know, these wolves are the ones behind the theme song for the All Elite podcast. It's the song "Dead to Me" by them. Awesome. Thank you very much for letting us use that theme song. These guys are awesome, big fans of the podcast and big fans of wrestling in general. Guys, please go check them out on Facebook, facebook.com/thesewolves. Follow them on Twitter, these_wolves, and on Instagram, these_wolves. So, we are partnered together with this theme song, but I have an announcement to make. And it's coming with the AEW Tees store coming soon. So, These Wolves and us will be partnering with a special T-shirt. So here's the announcement, guys. The All Elite Podcast is proud to team up with These Wolves to offer an exclusive merch in the AEP store. That's right. These Wolves are going to have exclusive merch for them in our AEP stores. That's coming soon. And along with that, and how we do our T-shirt store, they're going to do the same thing. All proceeds are donated to Culture City, a nonprofit organization dedicated to fight for inclusion and acceptance for all individuals, regardless of their unique abilities. So they're going to have a special T-shirt in the store once we finally get that going, guys. And we want to thank These Wolves for sending us the design and having the T-shirt sold in our stores with all the proceeds being donated to Culture City as well. And here you guys go. This is going to be the T-shirt that's going to be there. If you guys are listening on the go, you're going to have to come back and look at this awesome looking T-shirt. But you have These Wolves and AEW writing and the logo, music for the Elite. Awesome looking T-shirt.
Cool beans.
It's awesome. I can't wait to get one. I'm buying one of these once again. I'm going to my own store and buying one of these when I get it going, which is going to be opening soon, guys. So big announcement to partner up with These Wolves with that. Thank you very much to those guys. Guys are awesome with partnering us with the theme song "Dead to Me" and the T-shirt for our EP T-shirt store.
Yeah.
So thank you very much.
Yes.
Yes.
His other question was, what is your next milestone for the AEP going to be?
Ooh, good question.
I would love to still work with other All Elite wrestlers. I would still love to do more interviews.
Yeah.
With a whole bunch of them. Hopefully, because I'm so cool with Private Party, maybe that could happen one of these days.
Okay.
So we'll see. I mean, me and Kyle are going to Full Gear. So we'll see. Yeah, so Kyle probably doesn't believe me either that, they know me, but I guess he'll see that.
I do. I never said that.
Well, you didn't
they do our intro for the network. Anywho, Rihu. That might be a T-shirt.
So many T-shirts.
Yeah, it's tough because obviously the interview thing is a big part. We want to get bigger stars in the interviews. As for the rest of the podcast, I love what we're doing now. Obviously we were always welcome to guest hosts. We may do maybe more Q&As, more fan interaction stuff. Obviously I want to do more contests in the future, and I kind of just want to grow and go along with it and see where it goes from here, because we don't know really what's going to happen with this. We don't know how far it's going to take off. Obviously we have a really awesome following from you guys right now with the 2,000 Twitter followers, and that's growing day by day. The network's up to 1,000 subscribers. So I don't know. I kind of want to keep doing what we're doing now, obviously with the better interviews, and then just, again, more fan interaction, more contests in the future. I want it to be a fun, exciting podcast for you to tune into every single week.
Right. And we're always open to suggestions as well. And as we're going, we're growing, and it's just crazy. Like, if you guys saw my tweet on my Loves the Dream account, I went a couple of weeks ago to Capital Wrestling, and our our banner for AEP was there. It was on TV. And then what's even funnier was, you know, Gangone like knocked the sign down and he picked it up and he like gave the thumbs up. And I was like, it was funny because where I was sitting, I didn't know that that's where the banner was. For some reason, I just didn't notice. And like during the match, I saw him pick up the sign that fell and he was at the camera with the thumbs up. So I noticed later that was our sign, and I was like, oh my god, that's so funny. Like I was like, that's so great. And I put out a tweet. I was like, you know, I said, oh, that's our logo. Like how awesome is like Anthony's putting us over. Like it's just it's amazing. And the friendships that we've gained with wrestlers and the continuation of it. And, you know, again, we hope to work with more All Elite wrestlers. I mean, Sonny Kiss was holding our banner as well that day. It was crazy. So it's humbling. It's insane because, again, we just love wrestling, you know, and it's not really to get anything out of it. We just love it. So we'll see. We'll see what's in store. But yeah, so, but that's, I think, is all our fan tweets. I know Queen put a tweet out as one of our questions. I think it was
Queen of NE.
Who you all got winning the championship at Full Gear? I think it's gonna stay with Jericho.
Ask me in 2 weeks.
I don't know.
I don't know yet.
I'm working on somebody to be our third for a prediction show. So they didn't say no, but they didn't say yes, and it'd be kind of huge. So I'm really hoping that they say yes. So we'll let you guys know. So we'll see. But as for the network, I just secured somebody for Under the Rope. So actually, I'll leak it now.
Exclusive.
I'm doing exclusives on everybody's podcast, so I'm gonna do an exclusive right now. We haven't picked a date yet, so me and Kyle are gonna work on a date, but I've already got a yes. So she's on the list of wives. She's number one on the list of wives, guys. So Riley Madison, she's actually valet for a couple of wrestlers in
my list of wives, just to clarify.
No, she's my list of wives. She's number one. She's gorgeous. She hot. You're gonna love her. Like look her up. Like she's part of ICW and other promotions. She's just amazing. And I like that me and Kyle, what we're doing with Under the Ropes is we've done wrestlers and we did referee. So now we're going to get something different. So she's a valet and she wants to be a wrestler. And I saw that she wants to start training. So I love, I love this idea.
This idea.
Yeah, I know I talk fucked up. But you guys are going to love her. Not only is she gorgeous, she's just amazing. So yeah, that's our little exclusive with the network. But
that's cool.
Yeah, so I think that's all our questions.
So yeah, it's been awesome. Thank you for all the questions, folks. Really do appreciate it. Here on this AEP 50, as you see in the layout here, big giant AEP 50. Speaking of layouts, Tiff, and this is going to be tough for the people listening on the go, but you're going to have to come back and watch. I think we take a little deep dive here in our layout history. We haven't had a lot. It's only 50 episodes, and we think we've had 3 different layouts. So it all started with my layout that I made really quickly, and I was starting to get good at graphic designing. I wasn't really like the best, but don't mind the pictures in this one. So I had to take a screenshot of original layout because I didn't have it. I think I must have deleted it because how bad it was. So this was our original. This is a clip. This is a shot from our first ever episode titled Yeet.
Yeet.
And here we go. Oh boy, look at this thing. So yeah, it's pretty. I mean, it was all right for our first layout. I know, obviously, now we got some better ones with our boy Salrax behind a lot of the logos and such. So this was one that I made. It was really basic and me doing some weird face. I mean, you know what the hell I'm doing there. And Tiff's laughing. Shocker.
Laughing.
Shauna, this is back when she was on the left side. I'm taking over the left side. It's my side.
Fine.
And our old network logo. So that was the first ever layout. We rocked that for a bit until we got into contact with our boy Salrax, and He made us this layout, which I'm going to transition on screen now, and you can actually see us because we're actually live in this one. This was a beautiful layout. I love the way Salarex did with the people down below, the logo. They're really like a sports feel type of layout. I love this one. It was cool. It was cool. I really enjoyed it. So thank you, Salarex, for that. And then this was around the time I was also experimenting with a software, a graphic design software, and I really wanted to test it out and see how it would come out on screen. So I decided to make a layout for our own after this one. And this is the layout that we got to after that, and this is what I made with the graphic design website. So I thought it was all right. I tried to copy a little Salarex there. Yeah, it's good. It was all right.
I think we need to do layout with private party in it, or at least some of my list of husbands.
Right? I don't know how we're gonna fit everybody in there.
I don't know. We need to put.
They just crop everyone's face and have it like everywhere.
Yeah, Trent,
just their face.
Cassidy and Rihu.
Rihu, yeah. Anywho, the Rihu.
Yeah, she's gotta make it on one of the layouts now since we're saying Rihu.
Yeah. So we went to that, and then eventually I had Salrex because he was doing good stuff with his, and I'm like, Salrex, man, we need a sick layout here. We need a. I think I had another one, but I don't remember what I did with it, actually. I think there was another one after this. But then the most recent one will be this one right here. And this is the one that Salarex made. I sent him literally like a script of what I wanted on screen. He literally did everything exactly how... He took everything in my head and put it on the screen here. So thank you again, Salarex, for that, guys. Hit him up on Twitter. If you guys have any graphic design work that you need done, he does awesome stuff and he charges fair prices. So go hit him up. So again, thank you for that, Salarex. So, and I made this one for our 50th episode. Yay, we're back.
We are back.
So yeah, thank you to everyone who sent us questions, and we'll do this again when we hit 100 because we're still going to be going farther, and then hopefully by then we'll have more to add to the show. But this was fun so far, but we're not going anywhere just yet. I know we're an hour and 16 minutes here, but we're going to quickly do the end of the show here being the Elite Review. That's right. BTE review time, guys, with our AEP fan base there. You can see watching and excited to watch the Being the Elite review show right here on the All Elite podcast with the AEP #1 fans household here. So let's get into it, folks. Why not? Let's jump right into it.
Do it.
This week's episode, hilarious.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yes. I'm glad we're getting Being the Elite.
The beginning of it was, oh my God. So the beginning of the episode was hilarious this week. We had Matt and Nick and the antics with the t-shirts and the merchandise continues.
Nick makes
why? How serious he is?
It's so great how serious he is. It's great. It makes me laugh. It just his faces and it's just.
Well,
yeah.
He's going on and telling Matt he needs to start wearing the merch, and then Matt's finally just breaking out here and he's saying, I'm not wearing any of the merchandise, not a single piece of new merchandise. And then like Nick's got the t-shirt, and then Matt grabs it, crumbles it in the ball, and then throws it in the garbage, and then he turns around and Nick's holding it again, but it's upside down.
Yeah, that's funny.
I think they botched it, but they still kept it in.
Yeah.
And then he looks back at the garbage and it's gone. It's like Nick's just getting into Matt's head now with the merchandise.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's funny how serious. It's just funny how serious he is with the whole t-shirt thing. It's funny. Then we had a little bit of Cutler footage. I guess this is before he got arrested.
Oh my God. Well, he didn't get arrested.
So he got in trouble from the cops.
Oh, then he got a ticket from it or fine, and I guess you can't do that in New York, but I mean in Philadelphia. But that's just funny. And
then we had an interesting segment with your boys, Private Party, or our boys. I guess I'm on train now, so our boys' Private Party.
You're on the train. I love it. I love that you're on the train. Let's go.
Boop, boop. Anywho, I can't do a train noise. God. They had a segment here with Angelico and Jack Evans of all people joining Being the Elite here, and they were like squaring up, looking like they're gonna fight, and then it transitioned to like this air hockey kind of thing. And then like Angelico is the referee, and then he went for like the handshake with Isaiah, and then they did their tag team move, and it just showed them like doing like games and fighting at the same time throughout the arcade. And the one part right at the end where they're just staring into the camera, private party.
The basketball.
Yeah, they're just staring.
Oh my god!
Like into the camera.
Yes, this ain't water. I tweeted. No, I did on Instagram. If you send and tag Isaiah like a picture of alcohol and say this ain't water, he will share it in his story. So I did that with our friend Ray.
They're awesome.
But they're just. I can't wait for Kyle to meet them because they're just amazing. Like,
and we had something cool. This was like outside the arena somewhere. They're lining up or where they meet the wrestlers. You know, that zone. And Joey Janela was there, and he's like, I get tweeted out by someone to have him sign my girlfriend's tits or his wife's tits. Wife's tits. And then I guess Joey Janela set up something with the wife, and the husband didn't know. As he set up with the wife because she was pregnant and he didn't know. He's like, you're gonna write "I'm pregnant" on the tits, and I'm gonna show him after. So he ended up finding them, and he wrote "I'm pregnant," and then he turned around. He's like, "Kid's like, look at my tits."
Like her, like his expression.
Yeah, he's like, no. He looked at Joey. He's like, "You set this up."
It was just crazy. It's just
and then the crowd didn't know, or it wasn't sure what was going on. And it took Joey standing up and going, "She's pregnant."
What a cool bit. They're humble. That's what I like. Is a lot of the roster is very, very humble.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. I love that. And then the guy's like, "Yeah, we're having a baby thanks to AEW."
I like how they set up a lot, even that we've seen like the marriage proposals, and it's just. Mm-hmm. It's so cool.
I love that. One of my favorite segments that they keep doing here. This is hilarious. So, Chris Daniels on his phone, and he's acting like, obviously the interims, he's acting like he's on Tinder swiping right. And he's like, oh yeah, that looks good. And then they finally go from the other side, and he's looking at like a really rare Hulk comic book. And then Kazarian comes in and he goes, oh yeah. That's a screaming thing, and then where Chris Daniels nearly has a heart attack. And he's like, oh, is that one comic that's really rare? You know? He's like, yeah, you should get it.
$1,500, like.
God, so that was fun. I love this bit that they're doing. Then we had a bit with Peter Avalon and Leva Bates here about how this looks like it was after her dark match, and he's saying that they should steal a Declaration of Independence, but she's like, well, no, it's in Washington. It was signed here, but it's in Washington. And he's like, I know we can steal that one, that big bell that's out there. We might not get a lot for it because there's a crack in it. And I'm like, oh my god. Oh man, just a funny bit there. And we had a quick Cutler footage shot of the commentary desk. Some Cutler footage backstage with Pac with his bleeding hand. I don't know why his face was all red. Did he put all that blood around his face? I don't know. Did he paint himself on purpose? Because he wasn't like that out there.
No, he must have touched his face,
But it looks like he purposely, it's like he put a mask on.
But they were going to like GCW or something. But
oh man, that was funny. So we had that. Then we had the whole
the Jungle
Boy, Luchasaurus, and Marco Stunt telling Luchasaurus because he was hurt and he was lying down there, telling him that we lost the match, and then Luchasaurus saying don't worry, we lost, we're still strong, kind of stuff like that. And then before they left, Luchasaurus was like, oh, Marco, I got something for you. I think it's time. And he gave him a mask.
Didn't even fit him.
Didn't even fit him. Obviously, the straps need to be tightened, but that's interesting. And then we got more Cutler footage of Jericho watching himself on TV, but then he was watching it from the Derby. I thought they were going to make fun of Derby watching TV from the side.
Yeah.
But they didn't say anything.
I like it, though. It's cool. I like that we get to see all the backstage.
Yeah, a bunch of more Cutler footage. Yeah. And then speaking of Cutler had a bit on Being the Elite this week. And he's with Sammy Guevara, and Sammy Guevara goes, hey, Brandon! And Brandon's like, oh, God, yeah, what do you want? And then, he's bringing up the match he lost to MJF, and then I was like, I know, I was in it. And he's like, wait, didn't you see it? You lost that match. And then he kept bringing it up, pissing off Brandon Cutler even more. I'm just waiting for these guys to have a match eventually.
I don't know if you saw the tweet, but a fan tweeted said Sammy making fun of Brendan Cutler for his loss to MJF was hilarious, and then Sammy retweeted it and said, "I never make fun, only motivate."
Yeah, and he was like doing the whole. He was even stood up on the chair. He was
Yeah.
like making fun of his slip.
Oh, God.
And
I love these bits.
yeah, these are.
And
Funny.
it's so funny because like Brandon looks like he's gonna like crack up laughing doing these bits. It's so genuine. I mean, he's such a genuine person anyway, but it's great.
And we had a continuation with the whole Elite and Hangman thing. So Kenny's backstage, and it was after their tag team win, and then he calls Hangman. He like, can we sit down and talk for a minute? And then he wants to go over the whole like Kenny's changed and everything, and he wants to start anew, and like he's having none of it. And Hangman just wants to leave, and Hangman's just acting very, very distant. And then Kenny's like, "What the hell is going on with you? Like, what?" And now Hangman's just acting like very like
Yeah.
I don't want to be here. It's the Bucks kind of thing. Like they.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on here with the future, but Hangman and the Elite not looking like they're on the same page.
Oh, God. So
This segment.
This is one of my favorite skits.
They had Matt and Nick again, and Nick's like being ultra serious about Matt wearing all the merch. He's wearing the T-shirt, the scarf, the tie, and then Mrs. Matt comes in, and then Mrs. Matt's like, "I got something to add," and Matt's like, "Yes, finally, some real merchandise that we can sell." And then she reveals the Young Bucks money towel.
I love that. I really do. I want one.
And then Nick's wearing the towel and do a whole Val Venus gimmick thing. He's like, "Hello, ladies." Oh, and then Mrs. Matt brings up the flip flops, and then he tells, and then Nick's like, and Matt's like, "Yeah, I'm not wearing those," and then Nick's like, "Look down." And he's actually wearing the flip-flops. And then they do these, like, serious stares.
Oh, my God. But what about the
and
shot
Matt
at
stare.
Riddle?
Yeah. He's
shot.
like, "Yeah, we're gonna crush Matt Riddle in his sales."
With all the merch money.
Oh, man.
Wow. I
It
feel
was
like
good.
we're going to hear something from, like, Matt Riddle one of these
Probably.
days.
He's probably going to tweet
So
it.
it's, like, firing back on Twitter.
And then this is funny again. I love the whole ending of Being Elite this week. So Kenny's at the hotel in Mexico, and if this looks familiar at all, this is the hotel where the whole Cody Rhodes kind of thing. And then he was going on about like how they had to bring extra security with him to Mexico because you never know what's gonna happen, and he's just going on about that. And he's wearing a Rihu t-shirt. And then the cameraman's like, "No, actually, they didn't send who he was looking for." And then he started name dropping other names, and they're like, "No, they didn't send anyone like that. They sent someone different." And he goes to check into the hotel where the security guard's at, and the handle is covered in what's that called? That stuff, the baby oil. And he's like, "No, no, no!" And he's looking at his hand, and you get the creepy music playing in the background. Then he opens the door, and it's Michael Nakazawa, and he's going, "Naka, Naka, Naka," and then Kenny closes the door, and you can still hear him. He's still doing it, and then Kenny opens the door back open again. He says, "Nakazawa."
We need to meet him at Starcast. That's like a definite for you and me.
Mm-hmm.
That would be great, like an intro for the podcast as well. Maybe one of these days we'll pile up intros for the All Elite podcast.
So we had him do that, and then we had Kenny and they're, I guess, eating breakfast in the hotel. Kenny gets some waffles and puts regular honey on it. He walks away. Nakazawa gets a waffle, and then he's looking at all the honey and custard. He's like, no, none of this. And he grabs his freaking baby oil and puts it all over the toast and eats it.
Yeah.
And then Kenny's watching TV, and he switches. There's the Jungle Books on TV, and then Michael Nakazawa is watching TV in his room, and
that was funny.
He's going over his channels, and he finds this exercise one. He starts doing the exercise covered in oil in the room.
I love Michael Nakazawa. We need more matches with him.
We had the backstage tunnel where Kenny won the championship in AAA, and then he's got like a can of Monster, and he's like, "Yeah, spray it when you spray it with me." And then Nakazawa pulls out the baby oil and then sprays it all over him instead. And that's how we added being the elite this week. A lot, but
funny bits. That's what I love.
oh, they were
about
great this
like,
week.
Get
They're
that,
great.
Get that love and the little bits from like the beginning of being the elite that I just love so much. So Kyle still needs to watch all those episodes because you really will. If you guys haven't, you really should go back and like binge it because you could really appreciate a lot and you'll understand a lot more. The Mad Autograph, you wouldn't know about it unless you watched Being the Elite. So, but
I will eventually.
You will. It's good. It's just I love like the old school feel of it, but. Yeah.
Anywho, Rihu.
Who?
About an hour and 30 minutes here. Time to wrap it up, I think. A lot of people are probably sick and tired of listening to us. So we're going to wrap it up here for the AEP 50 All Elite Podcast 50th episode anniversary, folks. Thank you for tuning in to this awesome episode, and thank you for tuning in with us throughout this entire journey. To all our fans out there, thank you very much to everyone who sent in questions, everyone who listens on the go and downloads the episode, our silent listeners, all you guys. Thank you so much. You have no idea how much this means to me and Tiff for you guys to support us along this way. Thank you to these wolves. Thank you to everyone who supports this podcast in some way. Thank you very much. Sal Rax, everybody, you getting all a shout out today. Thank you very much. And here's to 50 more episodes here on the All Elite Podcast and exciting things coming to the network going forward. Other than that, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this episode. No preview show for AEW this week. As my work schedule kind of sucks this week. So we're still going to have a review show sometime. Just keep up on our Twitter account. We'll post when we'll do a review show for Dynamite this week. So I'm excited for AEW Dynamite tomorrow. I'm excited for AEW Dark tonight to watch that. 3 awesome matches on tonight's schedule for actually AEW Dark. I'm very excited. Obviously, I'm excited for Taz to be on commentary. But we had we have Brandon Cutler facing Joey Janela tonight. We have Nyla Rose facing off against Leva Bates. And we have the main event of the Strong Hearts and Private Party versus the Young Bucks and Cody and Dustin.
Yes.
So massive main event. We actually know a little bit about that. They brought that Orange Cassidy fan in the ring and let him pin Cody. So that was pretty cool. It'll be awesome to see this week as well. So we'll watch that tonight. Dynamite tomorrow, guys, and the review sometime this week. Keep up on our Twitter account at All Elite Pod. I'm your host, as always, the self-proclaimed greatest host, Kyle Masters, and CEO of the No Holds Barred Network. And I'm always joined by my co-host. She is the Executive Vice President of Giggles, the Heartbreak Chick, and the Queen of the Indies herself, Tiffany. She is at Loves to Dream 82 on Twitter. I am at Real Kyle Masters on Twitter. Give us a follow on there. And, guys, we'll see you guys next time for the next episode and the continuation of this journey of the All Elite Podcast. See you guys later.
I don't know.